Yeah. Continue to give your best.
Yeah, when you give your best, our job here is to report as it is. Wish you well. This is not taking anything away from the man who is at the helm at the NDLEA. He also is doing
his own discussion will come on.
Okay then, to our next story. You know, my viewer will admit that the war on terror is a many-sided affair involving military action, intelligence gathering, and diplomatic initiatives. When our gallant troops record successes against these merchants of death, we tend to roll out the drums. Reports reaching us say ground forces of Operation Hardin K have neutralized scores of terrorists who attempted to attack Burete, the hometown of a former Chief of Army Staff, retired Lieutenant General Tukur Burete, and Malam Fatori, a border town and military outpost. Now, the troops' spirit was further buoyed up with the elimination of terrorist commanders like Abu Fatima and others. It can only get better from here. Let's share the moment of jubilation by the troops with you. Let's go there. Thank you.
Swear to God! I swear!
This is our leader.
Yes, and 4 grenades.
All right, folks, joy, they said nothing beats it when you express joy from the bottom of the heart, you know. So the troops were right.
I have every reason to believe that the Nigerian army will vanquish the enemy.
Yeah.
They managed to keep the Northeast stable for a long time. Then in response to the threats in the North Central and the Northwest, we decided to move some troops and equipment from a place that everyone had judged had already become stable.
Okay.
And so many people, so many fighters were turning in their weapons and surrendering. Today, we've seen a resurgence of Boko Haram activities.
Especially in the Northeast.
Yes, in the Northeast. That is the main theater of war.
Yeah.
But Boko Haram is no match for the Nigerian army. They are just a bunch of irritants. That they do. You saw the pictures. You saw how they were dealt with. And I'm happy. Abu Fatima, when you go to the airport, you see the pictures of wanted Boko Haram commanders and fighters. Abu Fatima featured prominently among those wanted guys.
Oh, really?
They've sent him to his maker now. I'm confident that we will stabilize that region again. I'm confident this is an area that I know. And I know some of the officers in the Nigerian army. I know that when they suffer some setbacks, they have a way of bouncing back.
Okay.
This is the Nigerian army that I'm happy to work with, I'm happy to travel with. I know what they are capable of doing. And one of the best decisions that this Chief of Army Staff has taken is to send a man who recorded tremendous success in Plateau State, Major General A.E. Abdulsalam, to Nigeria's biggest theater of war in Maiduguri, Operation Hardin Kai.
Yeah.
Abdulsalam has taken over in the last few weeks. We are seeing our troops standing up to the enemy again. What you've been reading in the last few weeks is about the enemy attacking an outpost and being repelled. The enemy going to Buratai near Biu. Biu, that town, the legendary town of Biu, Boko Haram has never succeeded in penetrating Biu. Every time they tried it, they failed.
Okay.
Even their tanks will be taken from them. The people of Biu in southern Kaduna, they are among the most courageous people that you can find in this country. They tried, they failed. They pay with their lives. Buratai, they've attacked Buratai a number of times. They even set ablaze the home of the mother of the former chief of army staff. That was back then. This time around, they went to Buratai again. They paid with their lives. Malam Fatori is along the border with Niger Republic.
All right.
Our troops have been there since like 2014. People have not, because of the fact that the place is volatile, civilians have not been permitted to move into
the environment.
Yes. But our troops are there. And we have a good number of the Russian main battle tank, the T-72. We have a good number of them in Malam Fatori. They went to Malam Fatori to confront our troops. They paid with their lives. And their commanders, their Amir, they lost their lives. You can see those young boys jubilating. There's nothing that gives me joy than seeing Nigerian troops jubilating after a breakthrough on the war front. There are people in our country who are never happy when our troops are recording successes because they are wired to embrace negativity. It is things that are negative that titillates their brains. But today, we can report that these guys, not only that, even in Kukawa, if you see pictures that I have of these guys that have been killed, honestly, you will not want, some of them, you know, their torso blown off. You will not even be able to eat. What our troops have been doing in that theater of war in the last 1 or 2 weeks is very, very significant, is remarkable. It is because there's a new leadership and the troops are embarrassed about some of what the enemy has done to them in Marte and a few other places, Isge, in Damboa, Sabongeri Damboa, and they are saying enough is enough. In Bita, Bita is one of the places in Borno State where we've had our troops standing firm, refusing to give up. They went there. We lost people, we lost quite a number of people, but the enemy could not take Bita from our troops. I am convinced, as I said earlier, I know this army. When they face the heat, there's a way in which they bounce back. Boko Haram now is being made to pay. If we roll out the pictures of the dead alone, honestly, Nigerians will be embarrassed because they've really wasted a lot of these boys. And you saw the theater commander being showed some of the, well, in fact, one of those soldiers said, look at the idiot. This is the Amir. They were showing him, because he went there, they were showing these are the people that we have killed. General Abdul Salam must be really proud of the way within a short time his men have responded to the order to kill. And I have pictures. I hope the producer will show us pictures of weapons that they seize, because if you defeat the enemy, you must also take back the weapons from them. We have still pictures of weapons that the army seized from these good-for-nothing people.
It can only get better. When somebody talked about employing the kinetic and non-kinetic approaches, in other words, the fellow was suggesting all hands being on deck. So it can be done.
Yes, I agree with you. And, you know, this success we are talking about is not achievable without a clear leadership. What it means is that the current chief of army staff has strategized.
And here are pictures of the weapons.
The current chief of army staff has strategized. And they probably
even their boots.
Yes. And I've seen that there's a new way to go about it. You know what the current what the army and our security agencies are facing now? It's not a conventional war. If it's conventional war, this thing would have been done within 6 months. Because they are good at that.
They say they asymmetrical.
That is it. They've been to Liberia. They've even, you are talking of defending Nigeria now. These are people that went to other countries to defend and be able to defend other countries. They went to Liberia. They went to Sierra Leone. They've been to Congo. The Nigerian army is one of the finest. one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
But as he rightly said, the current commander, Abdul Salam, is doing a good job. And that reminds me also the kind of things that late General Lagbaja also did. Before him, there was also one General Adeosun. I don't know where he is now. No, I think he's retired. Yes, he retired also.
Former chief of police plans.
Oh, yes. But in Brata, we were told that at least 3 major, apart from the one we mentioned, 3 major commanders were eliminated. There's one Amir Abu Ali, there is Amir Ibinu, and there's Amir Abu Wadume.
Okay.
These are 3 commanders. And I've always said it, cut off the head. If you're able to cut off the head, yes, if you cut off the head, then the body will weak. What we should be doing is also, apart from is also look for the leadership. Most of those leaders of this this ragtag this thing, if we be able to, for goodness sake, America, if America is talking of terrorism, fighting terrorism, they don't look for the Bush boys. They go for the, you saw what happened with Bin Laden.
Yeah.
And they just
even though it took them 10 years, they made sure they nailed it.
Because he was running
up and down.
Yeah.
They made sure they go for the head. And once you cut off the head, what this has shown is a signal to other ones that feel that they're untouchable. Sooner than later,
but we are all in agreement here. The enemy can be defeated.
Well, we
have the capacity. We are on the way to get it.
We have the capacity.
We must not give up on our armed forces.
Okay.
And we must be ready to support our armed forces at all times.
Okay.
They are doing a good job. It's not an easy job. People stay awake for the rest of us to feel safe.
To even sleep.
They deserve our commendation. They deserve our support, not our condemnation. Those who sit on social media mocking our troops,
all right,
they should be ashamed of themselves because of what the police do, what the army does, that they are able to sleep in their homes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them even without locking their doors.
And even lost their lives.
Yes. People are sacrificing, who lose their limbs, who lose everything.
All right.